Welcome to PM Express Business Edition. It is believed that the current challenges facing the Ghana city is not just about Ghana's fiscal situation, limited supply of dollars, or even activities or speculators, but rather maybe challenges with the strict enforcement of the country's foreign exchange laws, especially when it comes to forex activities and the forex bureaus in the country. One cannot forget about how the activities of these forex bureau operators might have brought some pressure on the Ghana city in recent times. And also, how do we empower Ghanaians in our quest to deal with issues about money laundering, foreign exchange transactions, and selling of forex in the country as well? What about issues governing the identity of Ghanaians and protecting them when they submit their data in exchange to get that currency from that forex bureau? Well, on PM Express Business Edition, we're looking at the Bank of Ghana and the foreign exchange or forex bureau activities in the country. And my guest is Dr. Joseph France. He's the head of the Financial Stability Department of the Bank of Ghana. It's forex, it's foreign exchange, stabilization of the Ghana cedi, enforcement of the laws. All these things wrapped up on PM Express Business Edition. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome to PM Express Business Edition as we talk about financial stability, forex issues, money laundering, strict enforcement of the foreign exchange laws in the country, and with the Director, Financial Stability Department at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Joseph France. Doc, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it so much for making time for us. I mean, quite a rough day, tough day, but you still made time for us to join us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
It might be quite an interesting time for your department, financial stability, and at a time when a lot of things are happening when it comes to the forex space. I mean, how are you doing yourself?
Well, it's good. You know, we are not in normal times, yet the central bank is doing everything within its power and its mandate, you know, to stabilize the system. So that is what we are on. And that is what
your department interests me a lot because the scope is not as what we used to think. Financial stability. Sure. What are you stabilizing the financial space?
Probably I may have to give you the scope of the department. The Financial Stability Department is actually, it involves in, it has three disparate offices. We have the Financial Integrity Office, which essentially deals with money laundering or anti-money laundering and terrorist financing activities. Then we have the Market Conduct Office, who is responsible for conduct of the market, especially the banks and other regulated institutions. Then we have the Macroprudential Office. Macroprudential Office is essentially involved in analyzing macroprudential systemic risks and stress testing of the financial system. So these are, you can see, these are three disparate but very essential offices of the department. That, you know, helps.
Quite a lot on your plate, some will say.
Exactly. Well, that's
and the heart of
that's what we are
banking,
paid. That's what we are paid to do.
Interesting. Dr. Joseph France, the head of financial stability at the bank. But let's come back to the forex space, foreign exchange. And sometimes I get a little bit of confused myself until recently, or getting more education when we talk about foreign exchange, forex, and foreign exchange account and all those things. Help me out some understanding here, because foreign exchange, well, I'm sending you, I'm outside, I'm getting money. Forex business, forex operations, and foreign exchange accounts and all those things. Some bit of help me out, just set the issues well.
Well, let's treat it this way. I want to talk of foreign exchange. Essentially, what it means is the movement in the value of foreign currency, which we can term as the price of foreign currency, the price of the sale and purchase of foreign currency. So how do we determine the price of the sale of foreign currency, for instance. How does Ghana determine the price of the sale? Price of sale of foreign currency is determined by the inflow and the outflow of foreign currency. So the more forex that you get, the less the price, just like demand and supply. The less forex you get, the higher the price. And that essentially determines the price of your own currency. So if, for instance, you come out with policies that will let inflow of currency or forex into the country, that will mean that the forex market and for that matter, the foreign currency will depreciate, or the price of that will go down, whilst your currency will go up. So the central bank recently determined the policy rates, hike the policy rate, for instance. That, for instance, will let investors find Ghana as a place to invest in, and therefore will want to bring forex into the country. Those who already have forex in the country will be encouraged not to take their forex money out. And so there will be a lot of forex into the country. And so the price of the dollar, if it's a dollar denominated, the price of the dollar will go down, whilst the price of the cedi appreciates. So that is what essentially it means, the inflow and the outflow of currency. And this market is determined by laws, right? So we have the Foreign Exchange Act, Act 723, 2006, as well as the attendant regulations that came out of the Act, and that determines who essentially should be on the market and how the market should operate. So we have players on the market being banks who are primary dealers. We have the forex bureaus, for instance. They deal in spot transactions. We will have the remittance companies who essentially have only remittances coming in. And what do they deal in? Forex, like I said, is the purchase of foreign currency, the purchase and sale of foreign currency. It could also involve the payments and receipts of in forex. It could also involve the export and import of forex. It could also involve the lending and the borrowing of forex. Also, all these are specified in the Foreign Exchange Act, for instance. When it comes to these three, or these four that I've mentioned, the forex bureaus deal in only the first item. And that is the purchase and sale of forex. And even that is limited to spot transactions, right? So a forex bureau will purchase foreign currency and sell foreign currency spots, and has a limit as to how much it can sell and how much.
And what is the limit here for the forex bureaus in the country? Does it work out like a bank that if ZY Bank is well capitalized in this tune, they can do this, or it's a flat rate for all the forex bureaus in terms of the maximum limit that they can engage in when it comes to transactions?
Once a forex bureau is licensed, the forex bureau is supposed to place some money with the central bank, and so that forms its capital. A portion of it is the central bank. The forex bureau can purchase maximum forex that the forex bureau can purchase $10,000. The forex bureau cannot go beyond $10,000.
Interesting.
Yes.
How is the Bank of Ghana, or your department again, ensuring that they are working with these limits? Because what we hear is that they actually sell more than that to people.
Well, the Bank of Ghana, and of course this lies in the remit of we have a department called Other Financial Institutions Supervisory Department. They actually supervise the forex bureaus. The Bank of Ghana have various offices, and most of the issues are done by the various offices. When it comes to the supervision of the forex bureau, for instance, it is the Other Financial Institutions Supervisory Department. The Financial Stability Department may come in for, let's say, conduct issues or money laundering or terrorist financing activity issues and so on. When it comes to the banks, then it's the Banking Supervision Department that will be looking at all the forex and other supervisory and monitoring activities. So the Bank of Ghana monitors these forex bureaus through the other financial institutions, the supervisory department. They check their forex receipts and they check their books, for instance, to know the transactions that have been made for the day and transactions that may have been transacted over the period, if it's a month, a year, or what have you. And all these must be recorded. A forex bureau must record all transactions and must send returns to the Bank of Ghana. What probably we are moving on to is to have real-time operations of the forex, so that we'll get to know what they are involved in as and when they transact business.
And I wanted to come back, how thorough is the supervision of these institutions? Well, because the argument and the perception out there that they are breaching some of these things with such impunity.
Well, I wouldn't unless you have the proof, but the supervision department is quite thorough and monitors and supervises the institutions, go through the books of the institutions. Like I'm saying, once you move to real time, then of course, whatever transaction happens, the Bank of Ghana will be in the know. Otherwise, there may be some gaps, but that is not to say that the central bank does not know what goes on.
You think these gaps are not widespread? Because some are saying that we have the laws all right. Maybe the challenge is with the strict enforcement of these laws.
Well, the laws are enforced. Once you are found culpable of any infraction, you'll be dealt with. There are sanctions in the law that the bureaus are sanctioned every now and then. And so... And
we don't know, some will say that the name and shame, we don't know about it. And I'll link this to what happened in the developed market in the U.S. When Wells Fargo recently was involved in something in the U.S., the first thing we heard was that it was out in the public. I know the Bank of Ghana wants to be careful of rundown and, again, financial stability being your department. But I stand to be educated. I hardly heard the Bank of Ghana coming out to say that XYE Forex Bureau has been sanctioned because of this and that. We don't hear about it. That alone, that name and shame in the public space alone, is even more punitive than those penalty units that you slap on them.
Well, when it comes to bureaus, once we sanction a bureau, we debit the bureau's accounts, or we debit the bureau's accounts. We revoke licenses of bureaus, and we put it out there.
Have you done that recently, Doc?
Well, we've revoked licenses of some bureaus. I wouldn't recall whether it's...
Not the names, I mean, not mention names, but
once we revoke a license of a bureau, we put it out there.
And has that been done recently? Let's even say even this year, last year, Doc.
No, I wouldn't recall anything done this year. But
last year?
Saying once we have to check, but once I'm just giving you the procedure. Once the license of a bureau is revoked, it's put out there. It's in the public domain. It's on our website and everywhere. So it's not in dispute.
The argument here is that the Bank of Ghana, the regulator, has been soft on name and shame because of you wanting to protect the stability of the market. And often when you sanction these bureaus, these other institutions, it is done on the quiet. We don't know about it.
Well, every system and the cultural ramifications. So you study the system and you've put one out that we're looking at the stability. When something gets out of hand, it's difficult to collect it back. So you punish a bureau and you definitely will put it out there. And if you think that that will cause something, you will never do it. You punish the bureau on the quiet. And in essence, what you want to do is that you want to correct, unless an institution has done something very unpardonable that you want. But these are institutions that we regulate. And so we make sure that you put in corrective measures, because we need to correct them. Bureaus are there to serve a purpose. And the purpose is that you should find it handy to change or to exchange money for cedis or for foreign currency, unlike the para market operators. And that is where the radar should be. that the para-market operators and that we call black markets, the essence of the Bureau is to flash out these para-market operators so that you have bureaus everywhere, so that you don't have, it will not be difficult for you to change money or to have access to changing money. And that, in a way, will help flash out these para-market operators who are very inimical to our system. At least the bureaus are regulated, they have been licensed, we have data on them, they may not shortchange you than para-market operator who will give you counterfeit money and may even run away with your money and so on. So we regulate the bureaus and we make sure that they go by the rules of the game. You may have some recalcitrant ones who do one or two things, but they are corrected and they are brought to book and they are brought to. But when it comes to the para-market operator, nobody checks them. And so the radar is actually on these para-market operators that are operating in the dark and you know, running away with people's money and giving counterfeit money, bringing counterfeit money into the system.
I'll be coming to that, Doc, but you talked about these real-time reporting with respect to the forex bureaus, and some would say that all other things being equal, what period are we hoping that if all these things are put in place, by this time we should be hoping that that should be in place, and that could also help as well with the supervision of these operators?
Well, thank you very much. The process has started. You know, every good thing must, when it starts, you make sure that you block all and you test run all of them. So the good thing is that the process has started. And it wouldn't take long. We'll have this in the system because we want to block all the loopholes in the system. And we think that having absolute transparency on the market will help the supervisor and, for that matter, the central bank. And so, yes, real time, very soon we'll have real time operations of
early next year, possible?
Well, I wouldn't want to put that tag on it, but I think that it might even come before
earlier than that time.
The time, or probably next year or next two, it should be in.
Doc, some will say that, I mean, you travel to other countries, South Africa, for example. They are so, it's so difficult to even get access to foreign exchange and all the rest. And even if you have to get it, the identity and all those things is very, very critical.
Yes.
Some are saying that it is not the same here in Ghana. What is being done about it?
It's a lot of things come to play, and thank God we are correcting some of these. One of them is the identity.
Isn't it taking too long, Doc? Some will say.
Yes, one of them is which is critical, is the identity of the person who is purchasing.
Yeah.
We use multiple identity cards, voter's ID, driver's license, and passports and so on. Thank God we now are having to have
the Ghana card.
The Ghana card, which will be useful in this exercise. So Ghana card becomes the unique identity. And so once you have that, it will not be difficult for all these gaps to be corrected. You see, so yes, gradually we're getting there. Let's get this basic identity very well done. Let's get the identity of the Ghanaian street identification and all that, so that you can be able to identify a person to where he lives, where he works, and all that. So you slot it in the system. Then, of course, everything of that person, especially as to where you can identify, where you can access the person, will come, and then that will help.
Do you think that the strict enforcement of these, the purchases of these exchanges and all those things can be fully implemented when we have the single identity being the system?
I guess so. That will help greatly because...
is that what Bank of Ghana is working towards, some would say?
Well, the Bank of Ghana is doing everything that will help streamline the system. So, irrespective of national identity, the Bank of Ghana was working to get to... But then the national identity will help the Bank of Ghana, to assist the Bank of Ghana to get to the core of realizing some of these things that will block the loopholes in the system.
And that's something that will be getting there very soon. As in, because the laxity in purchasing these things.
Obviously, once we have the Ghana card being rolled out, as we speak, I hear about 70 million Ghanaians have been, once we get it rolled out seamlessly and we have we have the coverage increased, we'll get there with this rolling out of the system.
Doc, let me get back to the issue about the license revocation. And the concern for many people is that, again, and I appreciate your concerns about financial stability and all the rest, but some are saying that the name and shame here again will send some strong signals out there to that Kojo Mensah Forex Bureau, who is licensed by your end and all those things, but still find ways and means to get out there. If I get that sense that the Bank of Ghana is going to be tough with these players, they will tread, they will shake to even breach some of these rules, because some are saying that there's a direct correlation between what they're doing and the current pressure on the Ghana cedi.
Yes, I can agree with you more, and the Bank of Ghana does that. Recently, we had to flash out, or we had to, bring out some issues of some bureaus that were not playing by the rules of the game and so on.
And you sanctioned them, you revoked your license?
Well, investigations are still ongoing.
When would we conclude that investigation to take an action on them?
When it comes to things like that, you don't rush into taking decisions. You tread cautiously, you make sure that you plug all the loopholes before you come. So
I get, sorry, the understanding is that these forex bureaus are under investigations, and if they are found guilty, that action could be taken on them, which includes revocation of license.
Every forex bureau is monitored. Every regulated institution by the Bank of Ghana is monitored and is supervised. And so when it gets to the crunch, and the sanctions will have to be applied. Sanctions will be applied. The Bank of Ghana will not hesitate at all in applying sanctions to institutions. And we apply sanctions to institutions that we regulate every now and then, including forex bureaus.
And what is the number here are we looking at? I mean, these rough numbers of these forex bureaus that are under investigations, and that when the investigation is concluded?
Well, it's ongoing. We have various tools and framework and methodologies that we use mystery shopping to check whether institutions are doing the right thing. We do normal supervision, and we do unannounced entry to find out whether a bureau is doing what it has to do and so on. So some of these things are things that we use to pick various, and of course we get alerts as to what one is doing and so on. But the rule of the game is evidence, so we make sure that we gather enough evidence. And if we have to sanction the bureau, we sanction. We sanction a lot of bureaus, but we probably would not have put it out there that SYZ bureaus have been sanctioned.
But don't you think it will help a lot, again, in this, where in an environment where, and I'm sorry, where people are, and I want to use my choice of words carefully here, are so gullible and fall prey, and we'll be coming to some of these internet-based institutions that are all over, and you realize that the personality of the persons, if I could use that expression, who are fallen prey to some of these things, may be a name and shame. Whilst you know you want to protect the stability of the system, it would help. Adjoa Mensah knows that maybe Kwame Jones Forex Bureau that operates in airport was involved in helping or aiding laundering. She would not go out there again to do business.
Well, thank you very much. So, well, we sanction bureaus, but we look at the gravity of the issues. Some of them may not be, may be inadvertent. Others may be something else. So once you come out, we sanction a bureau, and you will not hesitate to do that. We don't quickly go out there to publish names of bureaus and so on. Well, fine. As we move along, we probably may take note and see whether we want to publish names of bureaus that we've sanctioned. But we do sanction.
And so we can say that maybe about 10 of them, 20 of them are under investigations, if I'm right?
Oh, we investigate. I'm
talking about the current ones that are under investigations, about 10 or 20 of them.
I wouldn't put a figure on it, but it's an ongoing process that we do. and we investigate. I mean, we conduct surveillance onto the market,
yeah.
and so we pick alerts and we investigate them. I will not put a figure as to whether 20 or 10 or whatever, but we do, and it's an ongoing process that we pick these and we sanction to wipe them. We correct as well. You know, some of them, and we sensitize the market, we sensitize the bureaus, we conduct, if you like, we build capacity. So I'm saying that some of them may not be deliberate that I want to do something untoward, but because of lack of knowledge, the person might fall prey on that with something or the other. So we look at the gravity of the issues. Of course, if it's a recalcitrant one who will not want to change or is deliberate, of course, we will not hesitate to apply the heaviest sanction that one can think of.
But the assurance I get from you is that those are found culprit, those who are found to have deliberately broken these laws, you would deal with them decisively.
Of course, yes. I mean, we will not hesitate to do that.
Doc, I mean, what again, some would say that, what do you also tell those who would argue that the activities of some of these bureaus during this period has also helped or contributed to the, quote, excessive pressure on the city?
Yes, the activity of the players, the stakeholders, and of course, I will not even limit it to
the forex, yeah.
To the forex.
The licensed, let me use the word licensed.
These are licensed, so they are regulated, and so yes, there will be some infractions, but because they are regulated, it may be much more limited than those who are not regulated. And those who are not regulated, it is sad to say that it is the Ghanaian who patronizes these para-market operators who are not licensed, who operate, and you have able-bodied person who are supposed to know, rather will go to these people because they want some better rates and ridiculous rates, you know, and rates that will distort the market, you know. And so you have rather people going to these, you know, and because they are unlicensed, you will not even have data. So policies that you might want to take and decisions that you might not to take, they will distort all of them. But we have persons dealing with these institutions and these personalities in the system.
Interesting.
And so these are the people that we are also wanting to flash out with the aid of the security agencies to get some of these people. And once we don't have people patronizing them, they will fizzle out. They will dry up, you know. So yes, we regulate the forex bureaus. We ensure that they play by the rules of the game. But the headache is the black market operators.
And it's good you've spoken about the black market, because some would say that we all know, you and I, we know where these people are operating, and we know them. Airport, Cow Lane. What is stopping the Bank of Ghana with all the powers that you have, the security agencies, zooming down on these people? I mean, airport, you know them. Circle, they are over there. Why is your department and working with the other financial service department moving down on these people to stop them?
The Bank of Ghana collaborates with the security agencies to do this. But a crime is a crime, and these are criminal activities. It shouldn't take only the Bank of Ghana to report.
Maybe you should take the lead and bring on the Ghana Police Service, the CID.
The Bank of Ghana does that. But what I'm saying is that it goes beyond the Bank of Ghana reporting or coming with police or what have you to arrest persons who are involved in illegal activities. A crime is a crime, and a crime must be clamped down by security agencies. Once we know somebody is involved in a criminal activity, it shouldn't take even the bank.
Isn't the Bank of Ghana more of an interested party here because of how, again, it distorts the stability of the financial system? Therefore, take the lead, Doc.
Yes, I'm not saying that the Bank of Ghana doesn't do that. The Bank of Ghana does that.
Okay.
But to sustain the frequency of that, it takes all and sundry must get on board, you know, to fight this menace, to fight this canker. So it shouldn't rest with the Bank of Ghana alone to be fighting this. It should be everybody. It's you and I, George Wiafe, and Joy FM, everybody's business to fight a crime. The security agencies to fight a crime. The Bank of Ghana will do that, and the Bank of Ghana does that from time to time. But it takes everybody. It's not only the Bank of Ghana's business that the system should be stable. If the system collapses now, everybody will suffer. So we'll do our best to flash out these people. We'll do our best to collaborate with the security agencies to do this. But it will also help for those who patronize these people to also stop. You understand? And you have people who are supposed to know better, who patronize these people, and will shield them. We'll even tell them that, hey, they are coming to arrest you, and you know, and so on and so forth. So it becomes a difficult game for the Bank of Ghana. So everybody must get on board. For this country of ours to succeed, we should have all well-meaning Ghanaians to get on board to assist, even as the Bank of Ghana takes the lead in doing some of these things. Otherwise, it becomes difficult and it becomes an exercise in futility.
But Doc, some will say that, again, and I know when the system collapses, we are all affected, but there are some who still believe that we have ceded that authority to the Bank of Ghana. We've ceded that authority to the CID. We've ceded that authority to Yoko. And therefore, you have our powers. You have our rights. Go ahead and act. And for me, when you see some of these guys, airport, they are on the street. Yeah. Every day they are standing there. Go to Circle, they are over there. Cow Lane. These guys are so bold to operate in public space because they know that the CID, Yoko, Ghana Police Service, Bank of Ghana, they won't come for us, or we dare them to come for us.
I'm not belaboring the point, but it takes two to tango. The Bank of Ghana, what I'm saying is that the Bank of Ghana is not saying that we will not give the alert, we will not collaborate with institutions to fight crime with respect to forex and forex activities, money laundering and all that. The Bank of Ghana continuously does that. But then, like I'm saying, it takes two to tango. The Bank of Ghana will do this, but it takes all and sundry to sustain that frequency, to sustain what the Bank of Ghana will initiate and continue to do. The Bank of Ghana, of course, will collaborate with the security agencies. The Bank of Ghana cannot go and arrest somebody standing by the roadside exchanging money. All the Bank of Ghana will do is to report to the security agencies, just like George Wiafe and Joy FM will report that these people are trading in forex, so let's arrest them. Or we'll facilitate that, report to the Bank of Ghana, and the Bank of Ghana will also report if you like that. But I think that just as the Bank of Ghana will collaborate with security agencies and let them know that, look, a crime is being perpetrated somewhere, which is in the full glare of the public, the security agencies themselves should not even rely on Bank of Ghana. They themselves can, from time to time, arrest these people. You understand? And it's everybody's game, even though the Bank of Ghana will facilitate that. And will continue to do that.
Are these security agencies been that helpful to the Bank of Ghana in terms of sustaining these exercises?
Well, of course, anytime we call on them to handle some of these things, they are being helpful. But it's a human society, and you have all manner of people in there that if you are not careful, that some of these things may even leak out before you even
move in. Yeah,
exactly. And so largely it's been successful, it's been helpful, and we'll continue to do that. But it takes all and sundry. I keep harping on that. It takes all and sundry to sustain this momentum, to make sure that these things are reduced to the barest minimum.
So what do you tell those who would argue or say that I only see the stability active on the market when the Ghana cedi is under sustained pressure? Some are saying that this thing should be not just with this one about the black market, even the forex bureaus. It should be a daily thing because we only see BOG in action when the Ghana city is under some sustained pressure.
I think it has been a daily thing, but you only realize it when you feel the pressure of the depreciation of the city. That is when you...
Interesting, Doc.
That is when you realize. But when there is stability, nobody cares to know what goes on the market and how the city is even stable. So much goes into it for the cities to be stable, and some of these things are done. So it is only when you are in trouble before then your eyes are open that, they are now chasing these people. But for all you know, these things are done on more frequent basis.
Are you doing that, Doc?
Oh, sure. I mean, that is why we are paid to do.
Financial stability.
That is what we are paid to do. So if the city is stable, then it means so much has gone into the city being stable. And some of these things are some of the things that we do. It is only when the city is misbehaving that you realize that, look at them. They are now chasing after this.
That is the perception out there, Doc.
This is what the Bank of Ghana has been involved in over the years to sustain the city. And we'll continue to do.
That perception is wrong, Doc.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's a wrong perception. Perception is something that we work with in our survey, in our surveillance. Perception of the public is equally important when you are coming out with policies. So I wouldn't erode that perception from the system. But I want to also say that it's something that we work on daily basis.
Are we going to get to a point where this whole black market business will be so unattractive so that people dare even walk into the open space?
We will do our best. I guess we are getting there. I wouldn't say that we'll be able to completely wipe off, some of these negativities from the system, but they will be reduced to the barest minimum. Once we have, there are structural things that we have to correct. Once we get the structural things in place, including getting the identity, getting to know everybody and so on, some of these things will be very easy to address. And I guess that as a country, we are gradually digitizing our system. And so we'll get there with some of these things. Recently,
the European Union moved us from that list, is it the grey list? And I was trying to get the technical wording right about we being a soft avenue, having the soft laws for money laundering and all the rest. There are some who have argued and said that these forex operators, some of these licensed institutions, have become a conduit for money laundering activities. What is the BOG doing about that?
And it's about the same thing that, the BOG does and has intensified, has even intensified its monitoring activities on the market. And that is why, mind you, we were removed from the grey list, because we've worked so hard to get ourselves off the grey list, and we are going to sustain that. We intensify our surveillance, we intensify our monitoring activities, we intensify everything that we do. We think that going forward, what has been the problem, of course that's one of the real problems that has been a major problem, is the identity of the Ghanaian. The identity, having multiple identity. That has been the major thing that even the international community, including the FACTF, has mentioned. So we're getting there to get single identity, to get that, so you don't have to use a driver's license, you don't have to use voter's ID, you don't have to use, so that Kofi Mensah in a driver's license is Mensah Kofi, or Mensah something in the middle, and so on. So that same person can perpetuate fraud in various ways because the identity is different. And so once we get there with a single identity, I guess that some of these things will be kept.
We're getting closer then, some will say, with the Ghana card, because
I think so.
When we get this, we'll be able to gradually minimize it. Because some are saying that we've been out of that list now, but some are saying that we could slip back easily.
Yes, it is only when we don't help. That's why I keep saying that, yes, you have the institutions which are in charge doing all they have to do, but they need to do it with people. We need to do it with all the watchdogs. We need to do it to where one is operating and so on. And so to facilitate some of these things, we should all be involved in this. Once we get the identity, the Ghana card,
yeah.
it's very crucial.
In fighting this money laundering issue?
In everything. Ghana card is...
I mean, I'm just saying that when we talk about the money laundering, things you have raised the issue about the single identity, the multiple being a big challenge. You see this Ghana card as a major breakthrough in trying your best to clean up the space.
I guess so. I guess so. And that is what was the major thing what was raised by the FATF, the assessors especially, that you get this, once we have this resolved and solved, we think that it will lead us to solving other problems which are linked to these.
Is the public being that cooperative? I mean, there's this argument about where everybody knows where the bad man is. Everybody knows the person who is a corporate, who is not complying with the law, who is breaking the law, who is involved in hard drugs in our society, our neighbors. But we are quick to protect them when it comes to exposing them to the authorities to deal with them. I mean, I know that your department puts out numbers, you know, coded numbers where people can report some of these things. In terms of the public cooperation, which you're trying to encourage all of us, is the public being that cooperative in this space, especially when it comes to the money laundering? I mean, we know, not me, I mean, you hear wild stories every day about we are suspicious of Kwesi Mensah, some of the things, very suspicious transactions and all the rest. We know them. The banks know them. Those who bring questionable funds into the system. Are people supporting the Bank of Ghana?
People become cooperative when they get to know what is in for them and what exactly is causing or that thing might cause. So what the approach Central Bank has taken is to sensitize the public, you know, about the menace of money laundering, for instance, what money laundering means and how it can destabilize the whole economy and how it can affect you and I. So the Central Bank has embarked on massive sensitization. And hitherto, people who were not even aware of what money laundering is now are beginning to appreciate what, and we started with the security agencies because they are our partners that we work with, and we have gone length and breadth of this country, sensitized the security agents, the police, the army, the uniformed persons, the immigration guys, the, name them, all the security agencies, for instance, we have gone length and breadth, and we are rolling out that program. You know, some of these things, structural problems are slow in resolving, and that is what is happening. But at the end of the day, we think that it's catching up, and we are seeing, you know, people getting to appreciate knowing their rights, reporting some of these things. We do this in conjunction with conduct issues of the institutions that we regulate and so on. So we're getting feedback and people getting to know things that they have to report to the central bank and things that they have to get the institutions to resolve and so on. So gradually we're getting there. We'll reduce the knowledge gap, the asymmetry, so to speak, to the barest. You know, once we get that, then people get to know what goes on and what they are supposed to do, what they are supposed to be at rights, what they are supposed to ask questions about, and so on. We'll get there, and I think that will help.
So I get from you that the public is being a little bit cooperative as the sensitization improves.
Yes, yes, and the measure is there that people are getting to understand. What they are supposed to do.
You earlier on explained this thing about how the single identity thing would help in the money laundering thing, but also there's something in the forex bureau space as well about when it comes to exchanging money, the need to provide the identity and then your rights and all those things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Before you purchase forex, you need to provide identity. And
a lot of the bureaus are not doing that.
It's even pasted there in the bureau that obtain receipts, number one, and obtain identity, number two. is pasted in a bureau. So the public should assist in this regard, that you purchase forex and you have to ensure that the bureau gives you receipt. You're going to purchase forex, you give out your ID. The ID is not supposed to, the ID helps you yourself, the purchaser who is going to purchase. Anything can happen. You can purchase forex, you walk out of the forex bureau, and you can be attacked of having stolen money.
Okay.
There will be, what do you call it, a proof that you purchased from the forex bureau. You purchase money from the forex bureau, you're going to put it in your account, and you could be arrested for having, so anything, I'm just citing these examples. So getting your identity to the forex bureau operator doesn't mean that you are under the radar. That doesn't mean that you're under investigation. It's just a proof that ABC came to the bureau and purchased this. You understand? So gradually we are sensitizing the public, but we think that the public should also be cooperative in helping the bureaus to also, execute this thing, which is an obligation, than to just walk into a bureau and say that I don't want my card, I don't want my identity to be given. If you are not prepared to collect, I'll move to the next person who will, so that if you have all the bureaus not accepting, you will cooperate. And that is where we want to get to. But once you get to understand that those other countries that we've been to, that these things work.
South Africa, typical example.
Exactly. you dare not say you won't give your ID. They will collect your ID. And your ID will be linked to all other things. And they will check before. So why is it not working here? Why will somebody go to South Africa and give his passport, but when it comes here, say, no, I don't want to give it to you?
Look, I mean, in the midst of the recent pressure on the city, there were rumors that some of the commercial banks that were struggling to get FX, they were turning to the black market as well to purchase dollars. And I mean, sometimes you hear some of the stories, you get surprised that, George, someone saying that, listen, I can go to the black market and buy as much as $1 million, $4 million. Does some of these things get to your decks?
Well, all manner of things might be thrown up, unless and things might be thrown up. All these things, once they come up, they are investigated. I don't know about a bank going to Forex Bureau to purchase...
Or the black market to buy dollars.
A black market or Forex Bureau to purchase $1 million.
Maybe not that amount, but the fact that they were actually engaging some of these black market operators, supply and purchase of...
We may have some recalcitrant persons working in... But I don't think it's a policy of any bank,
an institution,
any bank or an institution, a regulated institution, that I'll deal with the forex
black market operator.
That this is my client that I'm dealing with. I don't think that it will be a policy. But you can have individuals, recalcitrant individuals, unscrupulous persons working in an institution. They may not even be dealing for the institution and so on. That is not to hold brief for any institution. But I think that the structures that are put in the institutions, together with what institutions will have to go through, and the punishment that might befall an institution for sacrificing its, everything to deal in this. I don't think that institutions might want to go that far or go that low.
No. Our foreign exchange laws frown on pricing, quoting in foreign exchange, but it's still an issue. Go to some of these shops, nightclubs, schools, real estate, giant billboard out there, 2-bedroom house, $300,000. What is the department, surveillance, investigations doing about this?
Yes, we flash out some of these when we get to know of them. We have limited institutions that deal in forex. And for instance, if you go to the oil and gas companies. I mean, net foreign exchange earners, they are not licensed to deal, but they are permitted to deal. I wouldn't use the word license. They are permitted to deal in forex because they are net forex earners, like the mining companies, the oil and gas companies, some limited institutions, like some limited hotels and so on, who are permitted to deal in forex. It's not everybody who is supposed to deal in forex for which you advertise forex. So forex rates and so on. So when these things come to our notice, we go after these persons and we make sure that they stop. And so I put the challenge out there that once you get to know of somebody, we get reports, some report to our offices, and we act on them. So we tell the public that anybody who is pricing in dollars, please report, because it's actually a crime to be pricing in dollars.
Wow.
So the Foreign Exchange Act makes it that. So you report to us, and we also report to the security agencies, or report to the police security agencies, and that person will be stopped.
And they'll take that action. Doc, what would you tell those who say that, George, the biggest antidote to dollarization is to firmly stabilize in the Ghana cedi? If the cedi is strong, if there are more cedi assets out there that are offering better rates, there wouldn't be any motivation for anyone to price in dollars, because the other argument for the pricing in dollars is that people want to hedge against inflation, hedge against the cedi depreciation. Therefore, the dollarization fight, we will never win it when the currency, this perennial shortfall of the Ghana cedi or depreciation.
The central bank is doing its best to stabilize the cedi. To manage an economy, several policies are used in managing an economy. We have the fiscal policy, we have the monetary policy, we have the foreign exchange policy, and we have structural policies. I mean, we've talked about the foreign exchange policy and the free market and buy and sell of foreign currency, and the price of foreign currency. And I mentioned the fact that the monetary policy, the hike of monetary policy, apart from helping to curb inflation, also help in dealing with the depreciation of the cedi, because as you hike the foreign currency, you encourage those foreigners or foreign investors who have their money not to take their money out, and encourage them to rather bring their money in. And once you have forex coming in, the price of the cedi, the price of the dollar goes down, whilst that of the cedi hikes up, and so you have the cedi appreciating. If the monetary policy or the central bank or the monetary policy committee has not hiked the, for all you know, the cedi wouldn't have been even where it is now. It would have been gone over the roof beyond where it is now. But there are structural things. When I was growing up, the staple food of the Ghanaian is what? Corn.
Kenke.
Kenke, cassava, plantain. Now, what is the staple food of the Ghanaian? The staple food of the Ghanaian is rice and, you know. So you change your appetite, and what your appetite has changed to, you import them. Growing up, we eat mangoes, we eat oranges, we eat pawpaw. Now,
blackberries. And
now what we have? Berries. We have apples, and we have, you know, name all of them. All of these are imported, right? So you come out with structural policies, and structural policies ground slowly, right, to change the behavior of the Ghanaian to, you know, food that we have here, that we grow here, than putting pressure on the currency, than putting pressure on the forest, so that we import the apples, we import berries, and all of them. We don't plant them yet. These are temperate products, fruits. We don't eat the mangoes anymore. The mangoes get rotten. We don't have the appetite for them. We have the appetite for the rice, and the rice we import them. We don't grow that as much as we can here. And our appetite has changed. So these are some of the structural things, policies that will be put in place to gradually bring the Ghanaian also to help in consuming what we grow here. and not what we have to use the foreign currency, the limited foreign currency to import. You know, so gradually we'll get there.
We'll get it. Doc, we'll get back finally and wrap up and look at. Recently, you've been coming out with some release also warning us about certain institutions that are all over that are not licensed by the Bank of Ghana, and they are all over internet-based and all the rest in our quest to stabilize the financial market. As PM Express Business News, you're engaging the Director of Financial Stability Department, Dr. Fred Franz, who's talking about the forex business, the foreign exchange laws, and the fact that you don't have to price in dollars. It's against the law. We'll be right back after this break. PM Express Business Edition. Problems. And recently, you were even forced to put some names out. It appears we are not winning the fight against people still going out there to invest in some of these institutions that are not licensed by the Bank of Ghana. And they are falling prey, falling to these institutions every day.
Yes, so that's the challenge, that's the difficulty that we have. But we will not rest on our heirs in making sure that we get people to understand the world that we live in now. Now, it's so easy for people to get to your shores to do business if you are not careful before you realize they've taken advantage of your system. These are faceless persons, entities, individuals who may not even have presence themselves, that they may not have been established here in Ghana, but they live somewhere, and because of the power of the internet, because of the power of apps on mobile phones and things like that, they're able to, you know, reach out to persons in countries, and of course, the gullible fall prey. And some may not even be gullible, but are just greedy, and so want to, you know, patronize anything that is put out there. But the good thing is that we are able to, you know, sensitize the public. Once we get the alert, we conduct surveillance onto the market, and we get some of these. And with the help of the public, and that tells you how some people are getting to understand and appreciate what we do. So some of these things come to us.
I see.
You know,
I know the department puts out telephone numbers, sure, WhatsApp lines, and all the rest. Are you getting that cooperation from the public with respect to some of these things?
Largely, to a large extent, yes. Gradually, people are getting to send us information, send us one alert or the other, send us a few things. You know, in this part of the world, it's very difficult for one to report, like you said, reporting a brother or reporting someone who lives in the vicinity and so on. But gradually, people are getting to know that you shield these people, and you are creating problems for everybody, including yourself. So we are getting some bits and pieces of information as to who is doing what, and then we go after such people. Such people who are unlicensed, we easily put their names out there, like we published last time. These are faceless people who are not even in our system here. You go to Registrar Generals, you don't find them. They are somewhere else, and they are operating. And but when we empower the public, for the public to know that these people are Shylocks who, once they get hold of you, will cut you into pieces, and will get hold of your money, and probably take advantage of you. People will...
But Doc, the public are also worried that when they see these lists being put out, they think that POG, they has all the powers. Close down these institutions, send CID after them, send Yoko after them, instead of warning the public that Ajomansa, don't deal with an institution that's called Polo Savings and Loans.
That is why I'm saying that these are faceless institutions.
You struggle to identify them.
They don't have fiscal structures. They don't have offices here in Ghana. So you won't find them in offices in the fiscal structures.
With all your surveillance, Doc.
No. Where do you find them? They are outside the country, and they don't have fiscal structure here. They have presence here, but they don't have a structure like Joy FM that you go into. And Some are operating outside.
Mystery investment to clock down these people.
Outside the vicinity or even the country. You know, they may be somewhere in another country, but because of the power of internet, they can come to your shores and do business here. You know, so that is the difficulty that countries, not only Ghana, that countries have, that you have fiscal walls, but somebody has penetrated because of the power of the internet. So they will do business in your country. So all you need to do, rather, is to empower the citizenry or the public not to patronize this. Once you empower them and they don't patronize, these guys will fizzle out. They will not have anybody to operate with. So that is it. You call the police to go and arrest who? Because the police will not identify the person in a fiscal structure here in Ghana. Even if the person is in a fiscal structure, it may be somewhere else. You know, so it's a challenge, and the challenge can be cured only by empowering the public for them to know that, look, these are things, these are people that you don't have to deal with. You know, so that's where we have,
because they are not there are some of them that some are saying that they know where the fiscal presence is. Some of them
they are faceless, you know.
With all the surveillance you've done, you can't identify any of them.
They are simply faceless. Even if you put Interpol on them, it's difficult for Interpol to even, you know, because even if they are in another regime, they don't have physical structure that you can trace. You understand? So it's difficult. And some of these people who live in countries where it will be difficult to trace. They could even live here, but they don't have physical presence. But because we don't have sophisticated, you know, identification system, you may not have. Now that we are getting there, where we are registering SIM with mobile phones and all that, everybody will be identified. All phones will be identified. All payment systems will be identified. All of them will be identified. So then you will be able to identify a gadget or a structure or to a phone or what have you. But you will not be able to identify. So
the bank believes that the empowering the public approach could go a long way to deal with this challenge, because then if you announce and put these names out, it can help in stopping people to dealing with it.
Yes, we think so. I think the best approach that you can have is to empower the public, get them to understand that, look, these are people who want to take advantage of you, so don't deal with them. So it's only those who are moved by greed who want to deal, but the gullible, as much as possible, you get the gullible out, because they will get to understand that, yes, these people, they say we shouldn't deal with them. So we will not deal with them, because they will run away with our money, or they will cheat us and so on. And they are not licensed, so nobody can come to you. They don't observe any protection, consumer protection. They don't observe nothing, no transparency, nothing, you know, that you have of a licensed institution, you know, being regulated by, being properly regulated by either the Central Bank or Securities and Exchange Commission or what have you. You won't have that. So this is what we are putting out there.
What is your advice to people out there? Should they go to the Bank of Ghana website? Should they get in touch with the department even before? Because these are the ones that you know that you put the names out before they even engage in any of these institutions. And also understand the fact that for the protection of the financial stability space, every institution that plays in this space has to be licensed by the Bank of Ghana.
Yes, my advice out there is that before we deal with any institution, you have to check whether that institution is licensed and regulated by any of the regulatory agencies in Ghana. And when I talk of the regulatory agencies, we're talking of the Bank of Ghana regulating the regulated institutions under the purview of the Bank of Ghana. We have the Securities and Exchange Commission also regulating the fund managers and other broker dealers and all that. We have the National Insurance Commission also regulating the insurance agencies. Then we have the Pensions and Regulatory Authority also regulating. So make sure that any of these institutions are being regulated by the bank of, by the various institutions that I've mentioned, and ensure that that institution actually you go to the website of these institutions, you can easily verify all the regulated institutions by the Bank of Ghana at the website of the Bank of Ghana. You have all the regulated institutions by the Securities and Exchange Commission at the website of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and so on. You can verify some of these things. As we move, we'll have the Financial Stability Council probably will escalate to a level where you have all these regulated institutions on the website of a council, and the Financial Stability Council, is a council of all the regulated institutions, coming together to, share ideas as to how to regulate the financial.
As we wrap up again, and recently you also issued a circular trying to empower the public about when it comes to bank charges. And I'm still, when I read some of them, I get surprised that not knowing it is illegal and these banks are not supposed to charge us. What are you doing to these banks in terms of even negotiating a loan, deductions and all those things, and they continue to take these charges from the public?
Yes, what we do is that, you see, all of these are part of the sensitization that we do. Of course, the banks strive on charges. It's not every charge which has been abolished by the central bank. There are specific charges like charging on savings account. Savings is supposed to attract interest. So you don't have to charge.
Some banks are charging.
And so on. So some of these ones, you report to us.
And when I report to you, you take action on that one?
Yes, sure.
So I should report any bank that is charging me on my bank savings?
Oh, yes. You report to us and we'll work on it. We'll bring the banks to book. Some of them, so that's why we empower the public, so that you know what the bank is supposed to do and what the bank is not supposed to do. Some just report the banks because they said banks should not charge on it. So they think that it's every charge that the bank, but it's not every charge that the bank should not charge. The banks, of course, strive on fees and charges to operate. So is there those ones which are inimical, those ones which are being abolished, those ones that they are not supposed to, which we have put out there, that they are not supposed to. So if it falls within any of those, of course, report to us.
Things like taking a loan, and before even that loan is transacted, some charges have been taken and all the rest.
Yes, I mean, those charges, charges which are not supposed to, just report to us, and we will take action on that.
So, rounding up again, I mean, recently there were reports about some of these staff aiding with some of these corruption and these pilfering as well and all the rest. I mean, I know that some will say that because the reports are coming up, it means the regulator is working. Are we making progress in cleaning that space when it comes to banks and their staff aiding some of these pilfering and fraud and all that, which was so high with the reportage, Doc?
The good news is that, again, has to do with the sensitization and also ensuring that the banks have, not only the banks and all the regulated institutions have structures in dealing with some of these things. And so we get into a situation where the banks themselves are becoming worried that we have persons who are taking advantage of our customers. We have persons who are taking advantage of the system. We have persons who not. So they themselves are putting in measures to, get some of these. But I keep saying that, I always say it takes two to tango. And most of the time, we have persons who do not understand, who probably do not know what they are doing, and they vent themselves out to these people to take advantage of them. So again, it comes back to sensitization of the public, so that public will know that I do not have to disclose my PIN to a bank staff. For under no circumstance should I have to disclose my PIN to a bank staff, because the bank staff may take advantage of me. Under no circumstances should I disclose my PIN to even somebody who is not supposed to know, and so on, because that person, we have situations where people's children have taken advantage of them because they have disclosed their. So you open yourself up, and then you have it means that you remove all the guards that have been put in place, the controls that have been put in place. And the system.
Doc, your department is in charge of financial stability, and for when some of these reports, I know how the Bank of Ghana guards jealously in terms of when it comes to stabilizing the financial space. But are you worried that some of these reports, even if it doesn't come out in terms of formal reports, and even there are pockets of news reportage, you're worried about the impact in confidence in the banking space and even placing funds with the banks?
Yes, so it's the more reason why we do everything possible to ensure that confidence does not erode from the system, so that the ordinary person will know that there's somebody out there who is guarding against some of these things, somebody out there who is ensuring that people don't take advantage of them, somebody who is ensuring that they get to know what they are supposed to know, so that they get to know who they are supposed to deal with, and they are not supposed to deal with everybody on the street, any institution on the street, any institution that comes to their phone, soliciting and advertising for one thing or the other. They will get to know the right people to deal with and all that. So once we get people to understand and we make it very easy for persons to reach out to us, then we think that the public will get to appreciate that, look, there is somebody who is watching over whatever we do. And therefore will cooperate to get themselves educated.
Doc, your final words come to the forex space, you know, and what you're doing to stabilize that space and help and stabilize the Ghana city, as well as empowering the consumers. Your final words, Doc.
My final word is that it's very important for all of us to play our role, even as the central bank takes the lead in ensuring that some of these gaps, some of these things, to help stabilize the city, to help remove all bottlenecks in the system, challenges in the system, the central banks get to address some of these things. I will say that all and sundry must get involved in this fight so that we don't get ourselves ensnared again into this, because it's very difficult to get out of it once you are hooked by it, and they wouldn't want to be blacklisted anymore or grey-listed anymore. So my plea is that all must get involved in this fight. It's a fight for every Ghanaian to stabilize our country for us.
Dr. Joseph France, he's the Director, Financial Stability at the Bank of Ghana. As you looked at development in the forex space, foreign exchange, and also the fact that no institution is supposed to be allowed to price in dollars unless they are licensed by the Bank of Ghana. And also, if any bank is charging you on holding your deposits, get in touch with the Financial Stability Department and they'll be of great help to you. Well, I believe the debate will go on in your homes, your workspace, on whether enough has been done to stabilize the city and clean up the space and enforcing the forex laws to the letter to ensure that we all feel comfortable in this financial space. Dr. Joseph France, he's Director, Financial Stability Department at the Bank of Ghana. Doc, thank you so much for your time and such a busy day, but you still made time for us. Have a great day. PM Express Business Edition.